I am live. Hopefully, I'll be able to see the chat when people pop in. Give it a few minutes for some of y'all to get in here. Come say hello. I like going live because it allows me to answer questions, do the whole Q&A thing. So if you're in that chat, say what's up. I'll say what's up to you guys. Hopefully, you guys are having a good Wednesday. There you go. What's going on, bro? I'm doing amazing. Things are going really well. So I just thought I would jump on today. And up to today, I'm getting ready to do a long military weekend. So no rule zero for me this week. And I've been prepping the Alpha Mindset course. So that's probably the first announcement we'll get to. Working over some changes and some, final stuff to make sure there are no hiccups when it's my first course, right? So I got to make sure that administratively and technology wise, everything goes over smooth when I offer it. But we're looking at Friday next week. And that's just due to this military obligation I have this week. So I wasn't able to, I'd have it out this week, but the Army needs me. So it'll be out next week, Friday. It's the Alpha Mindset course. It's different. The Frame membership program is going to come later. But I wanted to get this thing out there. This course, in case you guys aren't up on it, it's yeah, no problem, dude. Glad to help. I do consultations for guys and help guys out with stuff. So, get on the website and get scheduled if that's something you need. But yeah, so, and on that, I found that when I was doing consultations with lots of different people, it depended, of course, on what problems we were working on and trying to solve. But I often found myself assigning a lot of the same stuff, just for each client to get their mental game in order and their inner game in order. So people were trying to do better in the relationship, reestablish frame or maintain that, or overcome anxieties or problems they're having there. Well, we're doing some inner game work there, right? Guys want to get better with women, get more dates, that sort of thing. We're doing inner game work. Guys want to achieve goals, get into a different job, get their money right, stuff like that. We're doing inner game work. And some of that, and there's a lot of mental fitness exercises that are rooted in neurobiology. And guys are like, yeah, what do I need to do to be more alpha? Well, I'm at this is what it is right here. You got to change what's going on up here so you do the right actions and that you show up as that person you're trying to be. So, I mean, any of these things like that fit in with neurobiology and changing your responses to the environment and changing your habits and your actions. So, we can talk about, the course will address exercises to help you with breakups, overcoming trauma, even addictions and changing habits, getting into a flow state, getting into a better work state, not procrastinating, achieving your goals, having more emotional self-control, starting new things, acquiring new skills quickly, both physical and mental skills. All of these things are going to be in this mindset course, and it's all activities and actions and daily practices and regular practices that you can do to address certain aspects of things that are going on in your life where you need to recondition this right up here, what's going on in your brain. You go through that breakup or you get rejected a bunch of times. There's exercises in there for that. You're trying to achieve some goals, or you're not finding enjoyment in something you're doing, or you're finding yourself getting into bad habits, or you have emotional patterns you don't like. All that stuff gets addressed. So this stuff was, in this inner game stuff, neurobiology, and, not just to get her addicted, but, to get yourself in line, right? To get yourself in order. And so all that stuff, boils down to your mental capabilities. You know what I mean? And so that's what this course is designed to help you with. And it's, not going to let you guys know the price yet, because I got to make sure I don't want to speak and say the wrong thing, but it's going to be pretty affordable considering what you're getting. It looks like it's shaping up. Because each module is a different amount of time, and I work to standard, not to time, so if I want to make sure I cover the full spectrum of what I'm trying to cover for you guys. It's probably 10 hours at least worth of material, and that's so the price point will be pretty low considering the amount of material. But I want you guys to it's not about, yeah, sure, I'll make money on it, but I want you guys to get the material for this one. Because if you do the membership program to get better frame and get better with women and just up those skills and take them to another level, this mindset stuff is going to be paramount for that. You're not going to be able to really have frame in your relationships the way that you want without having your mental game in order. All right. You guys want to achieve excellence and be a part of, that 1%, right, type of thing, or even get close to it. Your mental game has to be in order. Okay. And that's the thing, right? We want to get your mental game in order. And I don't, it's not about, I could probably charge a lot more than what I'm going to end up charging for this thing, because it's designed, for people who want to get high level. And eventually the price will go up to that. But I want to offer it to you guys who have been chomping at the bit for me to put something out. At least a lot of you guys have. So if you're on my email list, apexmindset.net, and make sure you're on the list, click the link, and you'll get on there with your email address. If you did it a long time ago and you got that initial free report newsletter, good, then you're on it. Okay. I'll send some emails out next week just to test it. And then Friday, the offer for the guys on the list will come out. It'll be guys just on my list will get, the introductory price for the course. And then from there, once I open it up to the public, which will be not next week, Friday, but in 4 or 5 days or whatever the period's going to be. So Tuesday, the following week, when I open up to the public, the price will be up, and that early price, introductory price, will be closed at that point. And so, that over time, I'll probably open that price up, the first offer price, for about a month. And then at that point, I'm going to charge what the course is actually worth, or close to it. All right. So that's the plan, guys. So get on that list and you guys will do it. And so, yeah, I just, so that's it. I want to make sure you guys have the stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I want to make sure it's quality stuff. And there's more stuff coming too. Like I said, that membership program is going to be sick, dude. So that's going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of value in that. It's going to be a year-long thing with a lot of work, private Zoom calls every week, and all kinds of stuff. So you're going to want to get on that too. That's going to drop in November, but want to get that first thing out for you guys. So that's that announcement. Now let's get into what we're talking about. Q&A. Okay. So that's kind of what why I like doing these live sometimes, is because you guys can ask questions. But the topic I wanted to address today is something that I find happens with a lot of guys when they're asking for my advice and help in the dating market, that they just aren't enjoying the process of dating. And I hear that complaint a lot, even guys from men and women, actually, that don't, that even ones that haven't consulted with me, it's like they are not really liking that process. The process of going through apps or approaching isn't really that pleasurable to them. It's kind of a lot of anxiety. They feel like it's a lot of, I hear, oh, it's a waste of my time. And then they go on dates with girls, and if the girl doesn't turn out to be that girl that is somebody that they're going to want to sleep with, or that wants to sleep with them, or that girl that might be relationship material, then they're mad about that, and they feel like they've wasted their time. And it's just like, and that's where this dating market stuff seems like it's really hard, right? Because people just aren't enjoying it. And so I kind of wanted to address that today, because the thing is, and this goes to anything that you're doing really, is you want to be able to train your system to reward the effort, even if it's something you don't want to do. All right. Now I'm going to show you a quick model here. Let's see if StreamYard. I Garrick, I don't have a price I'm going to announce yet. All right. Because I got to make sure that I got my ducks in a row with that first. Okay. So when I get it online and stuff next week, I'll have a better idea. And basically I'm going to send you guys an email on the email list on Friday, and that'll be the introductory offer. So you'll find out the price not this Friday, but next Friday for sure, because that's when it's rolling out. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay. Um, let's get into sharing the screen here. Sharing the screen. And yep, let's do that. Okay, cool. So we are sharing the screen. Let's look at this little diagram here real quick. All right, so this is a diagram that was created to, I forgot the guy's name that created it. It's well researched in psychology. A lot of people doing research in psychology and neurology on how to get into a flow state. Okay, so flow state is when you're in that focused, happy state and you're just plugging along, doing something, some activity. You're enjoying it and you're doing it very efficiently. Because of that enjoyment and because of, just being in that zone, so to speak, it's about the most efficient and effective way to operate. So people are always like, how do I get in this state? Well, there's observations from the psychological and neurological community. You're looking at this little chart here to describe what's going on with our brains and how we're wired. So if something is low challenge, all right, the challenge level's low and your skill level's low with it as well, there isn't really that much motivation to do that thing at all, right? We have some things in our lives that we have to do, but we might procrastinate on those things. We're just not that interested because it's not very challenging to us, and it doesn't require much to do, right? We might just do it without thinking about it, but we're very apathetic about it. Now, if the challenge is still low and it's about moderate skill level, we'll do it. We have to focus on it, but it's not very challenging. And so that's, boring, right? So maybe going through a spreadsheet, for example, could be boring because it doesn't, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. But so it's a moderate skill level because you have to be attentive, but it's not very challenging, right? You're just whatever going through a spreadsheet, let's say, and logging or transferring numbers or whatever, it's just not a huge challenging activity. So that can be pretty boring. Well, let's look at dating though. Dating, I would say meeting new people, making that connection on a social level and getting them to basically desire you. I'll put that on the higher level of challenge. All right. Now, when your skill level gets high, then that challenge, it's less challenging to you. But overall, generally speaking, for most people have a struggle with it, right? And can be very challenging. And so I put that at the higher level. Well, if you're not good at it, if you're not really particularly good at gaming and getting women, there's going to be a lot of anxiety there. That's where the approach anxiety happens. That's where the anxiety of rejection, what do I say next, and all that kind of stuff happens. And so if you have an anxiety about going into dates or whatever, and you might not describe it as anxiety or fear, but just like a discomfort, you know what I mean? That's going to be not very motivating at all, right? You're not going to want to be on these dates. And then during the dates, your stress level is going to be up. And so you're not really enjoying the process there, right? Now, let's say you start to get kind of good at it, right? You start to learn some game, you start to get some successes, you get some hits along with your rejections and failures, but the rejections and failures aren't that impacting on you anymore. You get into this aroused state now. And aroused, I don't mean sexual arousal, I mean mental arousal, where you kind of have to be on it. You're attentive, right? It's not quite enjoyable yet. It's just sort of a challenge. But the challenge transfers from a bad challenge that's stressful and that makes you want to get away from it, to kind of a good challenge at this point. Now it's like, okay, I want to, I want to improve, at least kind of get this thing to happen here, right? Whatever that thing is, you're out with this chick. I want to get this chick to the next stage. And so that you're now in an arousal state there. And that's a bit more motivating and a bit better, at least a little bit more, significantly more enjoyable than anxiety. Now, when you get really good at it and the chick's, fun to be around and all that stuff, now you're in a flow state, right? So now you're just like, and assuming too that the chick is somebody that you're attracted to, which would make her a higher challenge. Obviously, someone who's less attractive, you don't care about those outcomes. Those are going to be, you're going to perceive those as lower challenges because you don't care about the outcome if she's not that attractive and you're not attracted to her. But if you are attracted to her, and that puts you, in a flow state when you have a high level of skill with being able to seduce a woman, right? Or seduce you and get her to desire you. And so if your skill level is high, she's a challenge. Even if you're getting kind of blown out, you can sort of, or it's not working, you can get into this, you might move back into the arousal state if it gets to be more of a challenge because of her attraction level or whatever. But for the most part, you can get in this flow state where you're pretty happy about it and enjoying that dating process. So this here takes a bunch of skill. Remember, let's go back to not sharing the screen. How do I do that? Stop sharing. That's how I do that. Okay. So to answer this question real quick, go to apexmindset.net and there's a link, and there will be a link after I air this show. I'm going to go backwards and put that stuff in the comments. But in all my videos, there's a link you can click to get on the email list directly, or you can go to apex.mindset.net and there's a link you can get on from there to get on the email list. So that's how you do that. Okay. I don't have the link here. Maybe I'll dig it out real quick and get it to you in the chat. But I mean, really, it's just two clicks. I think you can handle that for me. Do me a solid and do that for me. All right. If you go to any of my last videos, like after this one, though, you can just get the link from there. I appreciate you asking that question. All right. So, so getting skilled in the dating process is going to make you enjoy it. But what do we do now until then? What do we do until we develop those skills? Where's the deficiency, right? And even sometimes when guys do develop the skills, they still find themselves not quite enjoying that process. So you got to look at why that might be. And so the reason for that is because of where their focus is. If you're focused on, so I talk about being outcome independent a lot. If your focus is on the outcome, and you deem success or failure of this event based on that outcome, that is not going to reward the effort you're putting in to get to the outcome. And so we find when we're talking about effort, and this is the way our brain operates, if we have to psych ourselves up to do something or start something, and then at the end, we're looking for that reward, and that reward has to be like this big thing, right? A extrinsic reward, we call it, meaning the reward is external. Then our brain tends to be less and less motivated to do the effort part to get there. You need to psych yourself up more in the beginning, over time, and that reward at the end has to get greater and greater and greater. And this is where dudes, they find themselves, they start learning pickup and dating. They start to get some successes. They start to get good at it. And then what happens is they get bored with it. And they start like nexting girls left and right and just like, this is stupid. This is a waste of my time. And they start to like lose interest, lose enjoyment, and lose opportunities on top of it. It's not like they got the chick of their dreams or several chicks of their dreams and like they're good. It's they've gotten the skill, they can get the girls, but they don't keep them. It's just not like they just are having trouble finding that reward. Well, the reason why is because that reward at the end, getting that girl's number at first when you were bad at it was like, oh, that's awesome. Once you get a bunch of numbers, Well, now you don't care about that anymore. The reward has to be greater. All right. And well, they've had a few women sleep with them. They've had some good looking women. Well, now if the chick's not like this 10 who's LTR material and all this awesome stuff, it's like they're not motivated. And in fact, they get frustrated with it. They get, annoyed with it. If she doesn't turn out to be like perfect after date 1 or 2, then the reward's no longer high enough for them. And this is how guys sort of filter out of the dating market and get apathetic with the dating market. It turns into apathy. They get bored. And that's a problem. I mean, not a problem if you have the life you want with women. Well, where it's a problem is where you don't have the life you want with women. And that's what you usually find. They're not like living the life that they would want with women. They're just now bored. And no, it's not a case of I suck with women, so I'm going to use that, make my necessity a virtue and say, oh, I'm just not attracted to any of them. We see that too, of course, right? But that's not what I'm talking about here. A lot of times these guys are higher, kind of decent, high value. They got value. They're decent looking. They've had successes. They've had hot women. They know the process, and they're just simply bored with it. They don't know what to do. Well, that's because, again, you've been rewarding yourself extrinsically. Used to get you have to, okay, got to go approach this chick. You kind of psych yourself up a little bit. I'm going to be alpha. And then boom, you get out there, you do it, and then get her phone number. And that's the reward. That's the extrinsic value, rewards that are happening, which means that the effort in the center of it becomes more and more taxing to put in. You become less motivated unless those rewards, those extrinsic rewards go up, that beginning and particularly that end reward, as that's not continuing to go up, then you can no longer appreciate just meeting up with a halfway decent chick and having a nice drink or two and calling it an evening. That's no longer enjoyable. If she's not, throwing herself at you, or she's not a 10.5 and everyone wants to bang her and you get lots of attention from having her around or any of that stuff, it's like, it's no longer cool anymore. It's no longer worth it to you. And again, hey man, that's fine if that's how, if that suits you, but usually it doesn't. Usually they don't have the life that they want with women. They know they need to go out there and date women to get it, but the motivation's now gone. So what do we do to change this motivation? And you want to start early in this, okay? I recommend, and this is why my process for courting and getting women, dating, pickup, and all that stuff is a little bit different than some of the stuff you see out there, because I focus on the intrinsic reward of pickup, dating, being on the date, having that interaction with that woman. I'm looking for the reward in the moment that I'm actually with this person. I'm looking for the reward of the effort. Okay. So my reward isn't, I don't have to psych myself up because I really don't give a shit. Right. I'm outcome independent. And the reward at the end, I mean, yeah, I enjoy the reward. It doesn't take away from the reward at the end, but the reward at the end is not the end state for me. That's not the reason for me to necessarily be on a date with a girl. If I'm going out with a girl and I want to sleep with her, let's say, that's the goal, right? That, whether that happens or not, is not going to change my reward for being on that date. And that's just a simple shift in mindset. I looked at when I was, in the dating market, and even, and you transfer it into your relationships as well. In the dating market, I looked at it as I'm developing my skill sets here. I'm making myself better by being in this interaction. I'm learning something about this person. I'm learning how to make a better social connection with other people and with this person in front of me. I'm seeing if this person's a good option for me. If she turns out not to be, that's okay too, because I walk away with a ton of rewards from the experience. Maybe I just have a little bit of fun. Maybe if she turns out to be a total piece of crap, I can laugh about that and tell that to my friends and say something about it on Twitter. or whatever, right? I mean, there's a ton of rewards that I get from the process of just being there, and that you can get those rewards too. That's the whole point. You see, your quality of your relationships with women is predicated on your sexual market value, your skill, and your opportunity. Those three things. You have to develop the skill. All right. You can't develop the skill if you don't put in that effort in the middle of getting ready to go pick up on a girl or go on the date, and then sex at the end, or she wants to, you know, have your babies or whatever it is, high desire, right? There's a whole bunch of things in the middle, and it's the things in the middle that are what develop those skills. And even if you're just dating, girls that, you're not that interested in, it turns out, of course, you think you might get out with her, and you're fine, like, holy crap, this is not a long-term anything at all, and I might close this date out early, in fact. That's fine. The skill set you're developing, though, during those times, you're going to apply for the relationships that you want later on. Because when you meet that girl that pushes all your buttons for you, and that you really want to have as more of a regular fixture in your life, when you meet that person, the skill isn't going to come out of nowhere for you to get her and maintain that desire. That skill has to be developed. Now, some of it, her attraction is not always a choice, and there's a biological element, of course. And so, yeah, maybe because you're SMV and because of, increasing that, she's going to be wanting you. But if your game sucks and your skill sucks, even though it's easier when you have high SMV, you still will not be successful. You won't keep her in any sense. You won't be able to maintain the frame that you want either. And so all of these things require skill. And in order for you to have, ending a bad date, or some date where, let's say, you met her on a dating app and she fat fishes you, right? She's 50 pounds heavier than what her pictures look like. She chews with her mouth open, and there's a whole bunch of information about her criminal record that she didn't disclose via text on the app. Who cares, right? That's a laugh, dude. You can still have fun with that experience. End it early, because you're not going to waste a ton of time with that, right? And not be completely thrown off about that. Not walk away from those experiences with this negative mindset about women in the dating market. Because that stuff is going to destroy your game and destroy your ability to do well. You know what I mean? And so it goes back to how you're neurologically wired for delivering those neurochemicals for reward, your neurochemical system, your dopamine system. And so if you look at it like, what's happening right now is good, even if it doesn't turn out the way that you want, you just got a whole bunch of things from that experience. And even if it's just learning experience, maybe you didn't vet that chick that's a terrible match that you ended up out with. Maybe you didn't vet her quite as good as you should have on the apps. You know what I mean? And so that's a learning thing, right? That increases your skill level. And so embracing the suck, in a way, not that it sucks to date. That's actually not sucky. That's kind of fun. But embracing that experience that you need to be having and focusing on that experience, that's going to help you, because the lays will come. Okay. The hot women will come if you are if you're focused in the moment and not so focused on the end state. And that's literally, even sexually, if you're too focused on that end state, she won't enjoy the experience, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult for her, and for you, for that matter. And so that is kind of the message for today, is you want to find your way to enjoy the experience, and don't be so focused on the reward, finding the good quality woman, finding the girl who's going to sleep with you. Well, I'm just interested. I just want to get her into bed, and this and that and the other. Of course you want to get her into bed. Yeah, sure. Right. I got it. Of course you want those things. That's why you're getting out there. There's nothing wrong with wanting and desiring those things. But that is not your focus, though, when you're hitting the dating market. Your focus is on learning and bettering your skills, and learning about this other person and vetting this other person out as a potential partner, right? That's your focus. With that mindset, she's going to qualify to you, and you're going to be enjoying the process and rewarding the effort. Now, at first, you're not going to enjoy the process. At first, you're not quite there yet with skill. There's some anxiety there, there's distress, right? There's still some of you there's some bit of scarcity because you're not getting laid if that's where you're at. If you're just kind of starting off or coming off a dry spell, you're not getting laid, you don't have women. So that's in your skill level is not where you want it to be. So yeah, there's going to be some hardship and anxiety there, but so what? That's where you focus and dig in deeper. And you say, okay, man, like I'm going to just focus on the process and try to find the good for what I'm doing, putting in the effort. And you know what? I'm going to try to have fun with this as best as I can. Even though I don't feel like this is fun right now, I'm going to try to make this as fun as I can. And as I go through the process and better my skills, when that's your mindset, you will transfer your body's natural reward systems, your dopamine systems will focus on the effort and not just on the extrinsic rewards. Once you do that, dating becomes fun. Dating becomes awesome. And here's how this translates. Get into the relationship now, right? You get into that LTR, that chick that you've been trying to get, right? The one you've been waiting for or whatever, right? So now you're enjoying the process of courting her in the relationship. It's not just about getting her anymore. It's not just about, this is how relationships become dull for guys, and guys get really complacent. Guys get complacent in the relationship because they were trying to solve their reproductive problem. They're trying to get the sex in with the girl that they would want. They get the girl that they would want, and they're getting the sex, and now the reward's there. So then they get in there in the relationship. So they're like, oh, I finally made it. And they stop trying, right? And when you do that, you stop trying, you start courting, you stop enjoying the time you're having with this other person. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be booking a consult with me several months later going, I don't know why she's, not hanging out with me anymore, and we don't have sex anymore. And she's talking to Kevin from sales or Steve from accounting. What do I do? All right. Like, that's not good. Right. Or, she's not that excited to see me anymore, and I think she might be breaking up with me. You don't want that. Right. That's not the call I'd like to have to help you with. I mean, I can help you with that, but that's not really where we want to be. And so if you learn to enjoy the process of dating, that will transfer into your actual relationship life as well, because you'll enjoy the process of courting the chick that you are supposedly into, right? That you like and that you want to be with. And that's a good thing. So hopefully that was a good message for you guys. I find this to be a common problem with guys, I think Michael's joking. I hope to God you are. That's really funny. So I'm laughing. But if you're not joking, oh my gosh, dude, we need to switch you around a little bit, right? Get your mindset dialed in a little bit better than that. That's pretty funny. What else we got? I'm going to go through the got any guys got any questions? Drop them. Yeah, back to the price of the course and all that. I don't have it set yet because I have to get it online. I don't even know the fees that the platform is going to charge me. Like I'm not even sure of a number of things yet. So I don't want to put an exact number. It'll be like a few $100, but it's not going to be crazy. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Jam the like button, all that stuff. Hopefully you like the message today. Is of course downloadable. It's going to be on a platform. So you're not going to, yes, it's going to be a digital course. No, you're not going to download it and share it with all your friends. That's what you're asking, which I know that's not what you're trying to do, but it'll be on a course platform. I think it's called Kajabi. It's the one that I'm going to use, but it's like teachable, like Gumroad's a cheaper version of how to do that. I think Kajabi's a little better. All right, what else we got here? Smash that like button. Not seeing a ton of questions here, which is fine. That is fine because I'm going to close this soon anyway. What do we got? Being outcome independent is key. Yes, it is. Absolutely, 100%. And that mindset course is going to train you how to do that, by the way. That's a big part of it, is training your mind how to do that, training you to be emotionally proactive and to take action versus reactive to things going on around you. If you're going to have an awesome, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. This guy gets it. All right. What else we got? There you go. And so cool. Well, that about closes today. So I appreciate you guys and all the support. Thanks again. And I'll be dropping a few videos this week, and I'll jump on live again next week, and we'll be amping up for our first launch on not this Friday, but next Friday. Awesome, guys. Take care. Have an awesome weekend.